Why did China's economy slow down? This question has left many economists and strategists scratching their heads in confusion and intrigue. The answer not simple, as the country's economic history is a complex tapestry woven with various elements of politics, societal changes, and strategic initiatives. Today, we will embark on a journey to understand this economic puzzle and delve into the depths of its complexities. Rewind back to the heart of the 20th century, a time when nations were still recovering from the aftermath of World War II, we arrive at the year 1950. This era marked the infancy of China's economy, which was growing, albeit modestly. Still in its nascent stages, the economy was susceptible to global trends and internal. It was a time of development, but the pace was slow, controlled, and under the watchful eye of the government. As the years ticked on, China began to establish a series of 5-year plans. These were not simple policy documents but ambitious blueprints for the future of the nation's economy. These plans were set in place by the government with the primary aim of bolstering economic growth. They encapsulated a wide range of sectors, from agriculture to industry, and from infrastructure development to technological innovation. Each plan was an ambitious endeavor, set to propel the nation towards a brighter economic future. As the decades rolled on, these initiatives began to bear fruit. The Chinese economy saw a gradual escalation in growth. The government's policies were paying off, and the nation began to experience an era of prosperity. The economic landscape was changing rapidly, with new industries blooming and old ones being revitalized. Fast forward to 1980, and the situation had altered dramatically. China was no longer a fledgling economy, but a rapidly growing powerhouse. The growth rate had accelerated significantly, surpassing the most optimistic predictions of the past. The modest pace of the 1950s was a distant memory, replaced by a booming economy that was making its mark on the global stage. China's economic journey from modest growth to significant acceleration was a tale of strategic planning, relentless effort, and an unwavering vision for a prosperous future. The period between 1980 and 2010 is a critical epoch for comprehending the journey of China's economic history. This 30-year span witnessed a phenomenal surge in the growth rate of the Chinese economy, an upswing that left observers and analysts worldwide astounded. This economic miracle didn't happen overnight. It was a significant period of transition, of seismic shifts in economic strategies, structures and systems that led to an average annual increase of nearly 10% in the country's growth rate. The catalyst driving this exponential growth was an intricate confluence of several factors. The first was the monumental shift from a centrally planned where the government dictates production quantities and prices to a more market-oriented one. This allowed the forces of supply and demand, rather than central planning, to steer the economy. The second critical factor was the liberalization of trade, which opened China's markets to the world and offered a conduit for the exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies. With this move, China embraced globalization and the opportunities it presented, allowing it to integrate more deeply with the global economy. The focus on manufacturing and exports was another vital element of China's success story. The country strategically capitalized on its vast labor force, enabling to become the factory of the world and a nerve center for global supply chains. Moreover, the Chinese government played an instrumental role in orchestrating this boom. It implemented astute policies to attract foreign investment, recognizing the crucial role it would play in fueling economic growth and providing much-needed technology and expertise. The government also invested heavily in improving infrastructure, thereby providing the necessary springboard for businesses to thrive. Promoting innovation was another priority, pushing Chinese businesses up the value chain, helping them compete globally. In conclusion, China's economy, once primarily agricultural, had transformed into a global manufacturing hub during the period between 1980 and 2010. This phase in China's economic history is therefore central to understanding how the country emerged as a global economic powerhouse. However, the tide began to turn post-2010. The growth rate started to decrease, kindling worry about a looming economic slowdown. How did this happen? What's the reason behind the sudden shift that we're seeing? The explanations are multifaceted and diverse, and we need to unpack them to fully understand the situation. Firstly, the economic model of China underwent a critical transition, shifting from an investment-driven growth to a consumption-driven one. This change is not a simple swap of policies. It was a strategic decision that also changed the entire landscape of the Chinese economy. It meant that rather than focusing primarily on pouring money into new projects, infrastructure or production lines, now more emphasis was put stimulating demand within the country's own population, encouraging them to buy more, spend more, and therefore drive the economy from within. Secondly, we can't overlook the impact of demographic changes. The aging population of China has significant implications. Fewer young people entering the workforce coupled with number of retirees draws a great deal of pressure on the nation's economy. It's a situation that's impacting many nations around the world, but it's particularly acute in China due to its one-child policy. Thirdly, we have to mention the growing debt levels. This is another critical factor that's been putting a brake on China's once economic growth. High debt levels can lead to a host of problems including inflation, a decrease in investor confidence, and a potential financial crisis. Comparatively, China's economy is unique. Unlike many Western economies that are driven by services, China has long relied on manufacturing and exports. This structural difference allowed for continued growth, but it created vulnerabilities. As global demand fluctuated, so did China's growth rate. From an economic structural perspective, several factors have led to curtailed economic growth. This narrative revolves around the complexities of an economic system that has grappled with challenges and struggled to maintain a steady growth trajectory in recent times. To provide a detailed account of these challenges, we need to delve deeper into the nuances of the economic structure. First and foremost, one of the pivotal issues that have significantly contributed to this situation is the over-reliance on exports. In the globalized world of today, exports play a crucial role in a country's economy. They impact the balance of trade, ensure a steady flow of foreign exchange, and contribute to the GDP. However, a nation becomes overly dependent on exports, it opens itself to the vagaries of international trade, subjecting its economy to the fluctuations and uncertainties of global markets. Any disruption in these markets can have a detrimental impact on the economy, leading to instability and eventually curtailed growth. Simultaneously, the neglect of domestic consumption is another critical aspect that cannot be ignored. Domestic consumption is the lifeblood of an economy. It stimulates economic activity, creates jobs, and encourages investment. Overlooking this vital component can lead to a severe imbalance in the economy. It drains the economic vitality, resulting in stagnant growth and an underperforming economy. Moreover, there are additional factors that have magnified the problem, such as increasing a high level of debt can choke off economic growth, as it diverts funds from productive investments towards debt servicing. It imposes a heavy burden on the economy and restricts its capacity to grow and expand. This problem is further exacerbated when combined with the lack of innovation in key sectors. Innovation is the engine that drives economic growth. It fosters competitiveness, creates new industries, and generates jobs. A lack of innovation, therefore, can stunt growth and lead to economic stagnation. In conclusion, it is clear that these combined factors have resulted in curtailed economic growth. The increasing debt levels and the lack of innovation in key sectors have also hampered growth. So, what does the future hold for China's economy? This is a question that has puzzled economists and analysts around the globe. Can it return to its previous double-digit growth rates? It's a query worth contemplating. The answer is complex and multifaceted, resting in the hands of both the government and the private sector, each playing an equally critical role in shaping China's economic trajectory. The government's role is particularly significant in this equation. It has the power and the responsibility to guide the economic direction of the country through policy decisions and regulatory frameworks. It is a colossal task, requiring continued reforms that target the very infrastructure of the business environment. The government's modus operandi should be to improve the conditions for businesses to thrive, laying the groundwork for a robust, innovative, and resilient economy. Indeed, innovation is crucial. In a world where technology is rapidly changing the face of business, the government must champion this drive towards innovative practices. It should encourage fostering a culture of creativity and adaptability that will pave the way for a future-proof economic model. On the flip side, the role of the private sector is equally crucial. It is the engine of the economy, driving growth through investment and enterprise. Here, the focus should be on exploring new markets, investing heavily in research and development, and enhancing competitiveness. These are the pillars on which a prosperous private sector rests, and their reinforcement will be instrumental in fostering sustainable growth. To encapsulate, China's economy has experienced a roller coaster of growth rates, from modest beginnings in the 1950s to a period of rapid acceleration in the late 20th century, followed by a slowdown in the recent decade. It's been a tumultuous journey. The government's role in this journey has been pivotal, but the shift in economic structure and the global economic environment have also played their part. The future of China's economy hinges on reform, innovation, and a balanced growth model. Only time will tell if the dragon can regain its lost momentum. What is clear, however, is that the path to resurgence is a collective endeavor, relying on the coordinated efforts of the government, the private sector, and the international community.